Hi everyone, Morton here and welcome back to another video. So since everyone's really starting back up into over the board chess again, including myself recently, I've decided to do this video which I think will be very useful for you, especially when it comes to preparing for opponents and also building an opening repertoire using one of my favorite tools, which is Lichess. So I'll start off by showing you some of the features and tools which I use most often on Lichess and what I'm looking for and how to use them. And then at the end of the video, I'll also go through how to prepare against your opponents. Just promise not to do it against me. Okay, so we'll start off with Lichess. We'll jump into the study feature, which is really helpful if you've never used it before. You can see if you go to all studies, a bunch of different studies which other people have done. Where they've put in their work and games they might have been analyzing. You can also create your own study here by just clicking this plus button. Okay, let's just create a quick one on our favorite opening. Okay, so we just call it Smith-Morra Gambit Traps. And okay, visibility, we can set it to private if you want, or we can set it to public, and we'll just allow cloning, it's computer analysis, and we'll have this one turned on. Okay, so we'll start this one. Okay, what I do when we're looking at different openings is I tend to break up the opening into different variations or sub-variations, and they can be each a different chapter. So for example, this first one could be just the trap. So this could be the main trap. Let's call it main trap. There we go. And I'll click plus. If you have a PGN, you can paste it in here. This is a board editor, and so on. Okay, analysis mode, we'll just put it on normal. And then we get our first chapter. So here we have obviously the stockfish tool up the top. So that will be our engine. We toggle on and off. Also, we have this really handy book tool here, which you can toggle on and off from this bottom tab. And this one is mainly what I use. So for example, after this one, we'll get our Smith-Morra Gambit, take. Let's just input one of these lines after bishop c4, and we have knight to f6. So we can see already knight f6 has a really bad score, relatively speaking. So does bishop g4. So you can work out very quickly just from looking at these exactly what the problem with particular variations are. So for example here, bishop takes f7 obviously is winning some material, and that's probably why white's doing well. Generally what I look for is in the masters database, if an opening line is doing quite well, then it's a good indication that it's a very solid opening, and it sort of does well in classical chess. So it's a very sound opening overall. So after e5, we can see that even in classical chess, white is doing extremely well in this position. Already I think white is close to winning if he knows what he's doing. And in Lichess, likewise in online games, white is doing very well after the move pawn to e5. And we see the trap after pawn takes, queen takes, and we see all the games that have been played up until this point. And here a huge success for knight to b5, whereas the other moves we see not doing so well for white. And in master games, pretty much everyone has played the move knight to b5, and pretty much everyone has won their games after here on. If you want to know more about the games, you could just like input the games. If you click it, you could insert it into the study. So that's one way to insert the game, or you could just view the game by clicking this, and it will bring up a new tab which would open up. So yeah, typically if something is doing well in the Lichess database or has a very high percentage score, then it means that the opening is relatively good, or it's very easy to play. If it's doing not so well in the masters database, but it's doing very well in the Lichess database, typically what that means is that it's a very hard opening for your opponent to be playing, because most of the games on Lichess will be blitz and faster time control games. So sometimes having a very easy to play opening is also very, very effective when you're looking at that. Okay, so that's it for basically the openings, which I mainly use. So now I'm gonna switch to another tool which is very popular, which is called openingtree.com. So if you have so that's it for this part. So I'm going to switch over to another tool called openingtree.com, which is, if you haven't used it before, it's very, very handy tool for preparation specifically. So you just go to the website and then you select a source here, and if you know the person's username already, then it's very, very handy. You can look through basically an opening tree of their games. So let's say if you know someone's Lichess account, you could go in here. If you don't, then well, there's, I guess, other ways to find it, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. But okay, let's just pick a player. So let's go for notable chess players, and let's pick someone from this list. Yeah, let's go for a favorite player, which is Dubov. We'll click continue. Okay, let's see what Dubov is playing with the white pieces. Okay, so we click the view moves, and then it'll bring up an opening tree, okay, of the games Daniel has played with white. So if you're trying to prepare as black, we could flip the board. Okay, view moves again. Okay, let's see what Daniel has been playing recently. I don't think this is his online account. I think it's just like games. It's not even recent games. It's like 2019. But okay, let's say we play the King's Indian, for example. So you just play through the moves. Okay, so Daniel has played a couple of moves in this position, so you would need to prepare for these different options if you were going to play this. But let's just go straight for the main line. Let's see what happens after this. We have d6, knight f3, knight c6, castles, and we can see the percentage scores as well. So we see how well your opponent is doing in each particular variation. So if your opponent is not doing particularly well in one variation, then maybe that's an indication that you should have a look at it, or maybe try to target that one, because that could be where you have the best success. So here, for example, maybe it's hard to tell here. You probably have to play through a bit more into the different variations, and then eventually, once you go deep enough, you'll see a bunch of games that they've played. If you click on those, it'll pop up some information there, which can be helpful. So if we go back and let's try just my name. Simplicity, let's go black, analyze games, view moves. Okay, let's just pick one game from the top here. So if you click it, it'll actually bring up the game, and what you can do is you can play through the moves, of course, and check it. And you can also click on this study button over here, and you can actually export the game into a recent study. So for example, here we can export it to the study we just created, the Smith-Morra Gambits, and save it there. So I hope you found this video useful. And actually there's one more thing where you can also download the PGN of a particular player. If you go to the link lichess.org/game/export and then just slash the player's name, that's very helpful if you want to take their database of games and then analyze it on a different program like ChessBase or so on. But yeah, that's an entirely different video. I hope you found this video useful anyway. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.